With a new college football season on the horizon, teams are preparing furiously with one goal in mind: becoming champions. At the same time, the EA Sports team is on a mission of their own, perfecting this year's product. But in this 20th anniversary season, they're elevating their game like never before. This is the making of NCAA Football 13, presented by Dove Men Plus Care. Previously, on the making of EA Sports NCAA Football 13.
We introduced a brand new mode called Heisman mode. We brought 16 Heisman Trophy winning athletes. Either play with their school or put them in any school you want.
Draft night premiere has become a really important beat.
The press gets to play the game for the first time with some of the top draft picks in the NFL draft.
With the new passing game, it's really about, the quarterback.
One of the highest pressure moments in our development cycle is launching the demo.
When the demo gets released, it's always that kind of moment of truth.
Until you actually get it out into the wild, you really don't know what you're going to get back.
Now, with only a few critical weeks left until the launch, the team is evaluating the gaming community's feedback on the demo.
With the growth of social media and all the channels that are available for our fans, we collect feedback from so many different places now.
I think we've had some pretty good impressions so far in the demo. Just kind of wanted to get together. I know you guys have been scouring the forums, and I just want to talk about things that have gone well, things we can improve in the future. We get great feedback from some of our really hardcore gamers on the forums to tell us things that we can improve.
The ability to get that instant feedback is something that a few years ago we never had.
I like people that were saying that even if they thought it was a little bit too arcadey, they were saying after a couple games with it, playing in Heisman Challenge, when they tried the Dynasties, they were looking for it.
I think the things that we knew that were going to be well received in the game, they were well received.
Even the addition of the ticker at the bottom of the screen.
Man, it's so little, but it's had so much.
So much to it.
Whenever we get feedback from the demo, it's really important that we act on it as fast as we can so we can make sure that if there's any bugs or anything that we need to tune, we get it into the final game.
To really, put it out there and get that kind of external validation when you put it out in the wild, it's really satisfying.
The demo isn't the only way the NCAA Football 13 team gets feedback. Recently, they had an opportunity to visit the campus of Stanford University to talk X's and O's with head coach David Shaw and his staff.
So, Coach, our game goes back with a history of Coach Walsh, just as you go back with a history of Coach Walsh. Tell me what it was like to play for him.
Playing for Bill Walsh, it was special because every day you walked in, you got chills. And I played for him for 3 years, and it was the same thing every single day because he was going to say something that was unbelievable. Every day he would stimulate our intellect to say, okay, you know what? We're going to be as tough as anybody, as physical as anybody, but we're going to try to be smarter than most.
Getting that spot to be the head man, kind of get that chance to be the guy calling the shots at your alma mater. Tell me how that's been.
I got into coaching, and you're just trying to survive. But the other thing that you do is you think about what's your ideal? What would you love to do? And kind of off would be, maybe if I'm a head coach one day would be great. Maybe if I'm the head coach at Stanford one day, that would be great. But you kind of put that in a jar someplace and you put it away and you think about what you have to do to survive that day. And I've relished every single day, and I try my best to make sure that we're the best team that we can be today and then try to be even better tomorrow. You guys want to check out our Hall of Fame room?
That'd be great, yeah.
All right. Of course, the Jim Plunkett Heisman Trophy, which was very well deserved, and Jim Plunkett's a big part of our program still to this day. So of course, this is the famed Stanford axe, which is a symbol of our game against Cal. It was stolen back and forth a bunch of times and then hidden and stolen and hidden a bunch of different times. So if this glass is breached or someone tries to break in, the axe will actually drop down to the basement into a vault.
The The EA team and the coaches hit the film room to break down Stanford's extensive playbook. With one of the most complex offensive systems in college football, Stanford utilizes a power running game to effectively set up their passing game.
First one we're going to show is what you guys call spider 2-wide banana. Coach, if you could just kind of walk us through what it is you guys are reading, who's the first read.
This play is made to look like our strong side power play. Quarterback reverses out, fullback goes to the edge, tight end steps down.
You want to sell the fact that you're running the ball here, but you want to make sure when you do pass, what you're doing here, you got sound protection all across the front.
If he has any protection problems, it'll be in his face. He's got a halfback that's going to help on the edge. But any problems, he's got that fullback as his quick outlet.
Are you always going to slide the protection away from your back? Are you going to cross key your backs? There's a lot of different things that you can do. But the defense coordinators certainly look at the offset of the back.
A lot of the formations will look the same to the defense as they get ready to defend. And a lot of times they're thinking, is this going to be a run or is it going to be a pass?
You want to make sure that the quarterback, his backside is protected, meaning away from the side of his primary read.
So the left guard here, as you watch him, as he starts to go, we would never do that. We're going to tell the left tackle in this scenario to kick for the widest.
The reaction that Sam linebacker made, is there any way that your AI guys can make it more realistic?
That's actually what we're actively designing out at this very moment.
One of the things I really appreciated is the complexity.
What we have to do is put defensive AI logic in play so that when that defensive end or out Sam backer sees this tackle or tight end, whoever, inside step, so he's thinking cutoff. So he's going to be like, okay, well, I got to get inside. That's where my responsibility is.
I thought that was really good, and it gave us some insight on how we're perceived and how we are looked at, but we also love the input that we gave as far as being able to try to make it as real experience as possible for the users, for the players, and for our guys. It was a great experience.
Touchdown, Stanford! Later, the team launches NCAA Football 13 at the ESPYs. But up next, it's all about getting the Heisman winners into the game. On the journey to launch, everyone needs a Dove Men Plus Care comfort break. For Jeff Luer, his comfort zone includes his love of college football, his work, and his family. Now, EA Sports is allowing this native Cornhusker to return to Nebraska and still work on the game he loves.
Back in '96, I was at the University of Nebraska. I ended up winning a video game tournament, and I met some folks in marketing from EA Sports. They gave me an offer as a game tester. Got a full-time job a year after that. I mean, ever since I moved to Florida, it was always a goal of mine to move back to Nebraska, to be closer to family. I don't know if I ever could have dreamed of this type of situation. I mean, I think back 20 years ago and playing EA Sports games, and now being able to create these games out of my home and be a big part of the team that's creating these games, I think I never could have imagined a situation like this.
The Heisman Trophy is the most prestigious award in all of college football. And in NCAA Football 13, gamers can use the skills of 16 former Heisman winners to help lead their favorite team to victory.
You can take one of these former Heisman athletes, these real-world players, put them in the game right now and see if you can win the Heisman with a guy like Barry Sanders. It's something we've never had before. We've never had real players in the game. We've never had Doug Flutie. We've never had Marcus Allen. Names like that are synonymous with the best of all time in college football. You can now play as them in the game.
We've introduced unique likeness. So we've seen them in Madden before, but on NCAA we've always had generic players. And for the first time we're going to see licensed Heisman athletes. So the first thing we did is we met with all of the Heisman athletes and we did photo shoots to capture their essence as far as facially and their body types.
In the past, NCAA's used global body types between the different players as far as wide receivers, quarterbacks, running backs. Well, this year we had specific body types for these guys. For example, Ingram has huge quads for being a running back, so we had to over-exaggerate those.
We spent a lot of time trying to get every nuance correct as far as their face. So when you see them in game, you should be able to recognize them.
It was difficult with a few of the different Heisman players because they have unique hair types. Like Archie Griffin had a humongous fro and chops. We gather all reference photos for these Heisman guys. From there, we create the models. For art direction and review, we like a front, a side, and a profile shot, so we can actually review them from each angle. You're looking at Herschel Walker and his Heisman years are roughly around that time. We put together an actual model. So then, once we create the model, we take these reference images that we found of him, and then we lay out this texture from the photos gathered. And from there, then we map this onto the specific model that we created, which then we get our finished model that looks like this.
You're going to see Desmond, you're going to see Archie, you're going to see Barry Sanders, and you'll be able to recognize them. So we've taken a lot of effort and a lot of love putting it into these assets this year.
Not only will they look the same, they'll play just like they did in their Heisman days, and you'll be able to experience the game the way they did.
The more experience you get, the more awareness you build up, the more reaction time you can use. With the Heisman guys, they've got a ton of reaction time available, so you just see the field.
Guys like Robert Griffin III can make those split-second decisions because the game is moving at a slower pace than anybody else. So it's a great way to really slow things down for you and really feel what it's like to be one of these top-tier greatest players of all time.
We're shooting 3 commercials today for NCAA football. The first is Les Miles and Mike the Tiger from LSU, and Mike is playing as RG3. He added him to LSU to win the national championship, and Les walks in on him, and hilarity ensues.
You'd be surprised at how much goes on behind the scenes. There's so many people in this room.
Pictures up. Pictures up.
The different shots that go on. Every time that I come on a set, I learn, and they had a great team here today.
All right, so Mike, you're playing away. Touchdown. And coach.
Hey, Mike. That's messed up.
And coach.
Hey, Mike. Really? Yeah, I've been accused of being a meticulous planner. I can tell you that I did make a couple suggestions. I don't believe that they were used in any way.
Punch him.
I think Mike did a tremendous job today. I think his acting certainly, with the tiger head on, for him to come out and give the emotion that he gave, I felt like it certainly was the high point of the commercial by far.
You think you played second fiddle to his performance?
Well, but we always do. Saturday evenings as well.
RG3, 6 points, LSU.
Hey, Mike.
That's touchdown number 25 for Robert Griffin III. Heisman, here we come.
You were like a son to me. A tiger son. Put some pants on.
Up next, a road trip to Adidas headquarters to get a sneak peek at some of the newest college football uniforms. And later, NCAA Football 13 gets the red carpet treatment.
What's it like to be on the cover of your own video game?
It's first of all, it was exciting because it's something that I played as a kid.
We really wanted to establish this living, breathing world of college football. And really, in thinking about studio updates, there was only one voice that came to mind, and that was Reese Davis.
The U was known as a full-time vowel, the last one before Y.
More than anything, Reese Davis represents your narrator on a Saturday on ESPN.
Let's see how the top 10 are faring today.
What the guys who are working on the game want to do is make it as realistic as possible. So for me, what I'm trying to do is envision how I would be if I were setting up these scenarios.
A rare occurrence, number 1 versus number 2.
I think the most challenging part has been to bring the right amount of energy in the right doses.
There are some upsets brewing. No real upsets brewing right now, and life can be tough on the road, even for a top 10 team.
I'm not a screamer on TV, but every now and then I'll bring it up with a lot of energy just for fun.
One last chance, and they score!
In this environment, it's hard to know how much to do that.
Let's check out some top 25 action, and several teams in danger right now. There was never any room to breathe in this game.
Because these are going to be showing up at different parts at different times of the game, I think knowing how much and when to bring real high energy levels has been a little bit challenging, but it's been fun. The guys have been great in saying, try this, try that.
Okay. So just make them your own, have fun with them, ad-lib them. Again, this is going to be an intro that isn't stitched to anything else.
Okay.
Okay?
In the Big Ten, the legends and the leaders vying for the conference title. The cauldron of intensity that is the SEC championship game.
That's a good one.
The most enjoyable part has been working with these guys who, the way they can put everything together and make it sound natural, because if you're going to be part of it, you want it to be good.
Time to have a look at what's going on in East Lansing.
NCAA Football 13. I'm in the game.
Ha ha ha, gotcha.
Today we're at the headquarters of Adidas in Portland, Oregon, and we're going to go check out some brand new uniforms.
College uniforms are always evolving, and by working with companies such as Adidas, the EA team stays up to date with the latest football fashion trends.
We're honored to host EA Sports to our corporate headquarters here in Portland, Oregon.
The first time we're going to be able to see firsthand up front before we even launch the game what you guys are already doing to make sure that we're keeping pace with you guys. It's going to be fantastic. One of the unique experiences we're going to have this year with NCAA 13 is we're going to offer the ability to get these uniforms that normally a user wouldn't get until a year after in our next year's product.
Adidas was very excited to unveil the new uniforms for Texas A&M and Mississippi State.
We're excited about partnering with EA Sports so that we can replicate these uniforms exactly in the games.
The most important step is actually what we're here today to do, and that's to capture photo reference.
What are we going to shoot under it?
We're going to shoot underneath it. Initially what we do is we get line art, and from that line art we then take photographs. Both of those I'll take back to my character artists. We want to go back and check to make sure that we actually got the shot. We check the whites, we check the shadows, so that when we get back to the studio that we haven't gone through all this trouble for nothing. Every little detail is then packaged together and they create this series of textures that are then going to be used in game.
What we do with EA and what we love with their partnership is the authentication side of when we're doing special uniforming for these schools, how we make that come alive in their video game.
As we start to see finally that uniform get into game, and then we'll see it take its first tuning pass between characters and lighting, and then we'll see the material properties start to reflect as you would see them out on a bright sunny day or on an overcast day. That's when everybody starts to see the magic come together.
On the journey to launch, everyone needs a Dove Men Plus Care comfort break. For Alex Howell, his comfort zone lies in his college football roots. As a walk-on running back at Auburn, Alex persevered to realize a dream come true. Now he's bringing that same drive and determination to his new team as a designer for NCAA Football 13.
I played at Auburn University as a walk-on, and I learned everything from integrity to perseverance to all these key factors that really help me with my game development experience right now. I could have given up any days when we were going through our redshirt workouts and just stopped right there, knowing that I was never going to touch the field. But my drive for football and my drive for college football was so large that it pushed me to reach these incredible moments, the blood, sweat, and tears of pushing boards at 5 o'clock in the morning, or running hills, or pushing sleds, or pulling sleds. That's where I really learned everything about myself. Everything that I learned from college football has translated perfectly over to the team game development environment we work with now. I love doing this stuff more than anything else.
Up next, the team goes to LA to launch EA Sports NCAA Football 13 at the ESPYs.
We're able to come out here, out to LA, have all the athletes out here checking out the game, tweeting about the great time they're having.
LA, the ESPYs, and launch day. a perfect combination for the red carpet rollout of this year's NCAA Football 13 game. For EA Sports, it's the only place to be and be seen.
With our launch in that second week of July and the ESPYs being at the same exact time, it works out perfect. You know, we're able to come out here, out to LA for this event, be here right on launch day, have all the athletes out here checking out the game, tweeting about the great time they're having.
The ESPYs are a great time for athletes to do a little gaming with NCAA Football 13, hang with friends, and share some inside knowledge.
One thing you didn't know about me is I traded Pokemon cards till I was about 15 years old.
I paint. I'm a painter. Ted Williams is my favorite athlete of all time. It's the reason I wear the number 9.
One thing you don't know about me is that I can actually cook.
If I wasn't a football player, I'd probably be a poet.
ESPYs is really exciting because we get a lot of athletes come through here, and there's athletes from every walk of life. There's Olympic athletes here, there's football players, and it's really cool because they actually really love the game. Like, they turn into big kids and they sit down, like, get on the sticks and like competitive, with their boys playing the game.
Game, you guys ready? Run heavy Alabama offense, I see you.
Robert's been a phenomenal ambassador for the game. For the first time, because of the Heisman Challenge, he's in the game. And so that's a unique thing for us to have a cover athlete actually in the game and able to talk about what that's like.
I'm with our Heisman Trophy winner this year, Robert Griffin III. You are also on the cover of EA Sports NCAA Football 13. You're on the cover with Barry Sanders. What's it like to be on the cover of your own video game?
It's first of all, it was exciting because it's something that I played as a kid, but to be on there with Barry Sanders, a legend, class act, grade A guy, makes it that much more special.
While the ESPYs are a great opportunity to unwind and hang with the athletes, the reality is there's more work to do for the NCAA Football 13 team.
Launch week is an exciting time for the dev team. We finally get to see the reviews coming out for all the hard work we put in throughout the year.
To finally show the game off to our, our friends and family and everybody else, show off what we've done, it's really, really cool.
Oh my, what a catch!
Everyone's very excited. I think there's a little bit of nervousness too.
After the launch, there is a sense of relief and accomplishment. But in today's digital age, celebrations don't last very long.
Our industry was very heavily kind of just a packaged goods, launch it and leave it kind of mentality. Those days are gone.
It's very important for us, even though NCAA 13 is launched, to monitor it closely, to read user feedback, to read the forums, to talk with the community.
Goes to the end zone. He's got it.
We're lucky enough here on NCAA to be able to do live updates. We usually have a patch or two, but we can put in tuning updates, which means that we can put in really small files that affect bigger things.
So throughout the remainder of the season, our users are going to see new uniforms, new content coming down to them.
You got that balance between supporting 13 and you got to get 14 because there's big expectations. How are you going to top yourself?
We've got some big innovation in store for next year and the year beyond and beyond that as well.
Even though you want to sit back and sort of relax and admire your work, you still got to go right back to work. Don't want to give anything away right now or any spoilers, but we're working on some great stuff for NCAA 14.